Greetings. Here are ideas and information intended to help you navigate the minefield of life's many problems that I have gained through a self-realization process known as advanced perception. Through advanced perception, we learn that we are not getting working answers to our problems because we're asking the wrong questions. So if you have an open mind and understand that you have absolutely nothing to lose, here it is. But this is not free. It requires that you pay attention. Do you remember your childhood? There was a vital lesson you were supposed to learn, and if you didn't, here's your chance to learn it now. Hello, this is Ernest. Welcome. Most of us don't think very often about our childhood. Depending on our age, we may, for example, look through our parents' photo album. Do those things even still exist? Of us as children. But there was a very important lesson that many of us didn't learn. And regardless of your current biological age, that lesson that can still be learned is proportionality. I'm going to ask you to try this experiment. If you don't have the time, find the time. Because when it's finished, you're going to be very surprised. You can take as long as you like, but I would suggest a minimum of 2 to 3 hours. On a pad, I want you to write these things down in chronological order, from your earliest childhood remembrances through your teen years to age 25. Your absolute favorite objects, toys for example. Then, as you progress into your teenage years, you can also include objects or perhaps even events. Your first music concert, for example. Then from there, you go into early adulthood. Now, and this is very important, there are 2 very specific instructions for the list. First, this is not meant to be a mile-long list. It is only intended to be maybe 5 objects or events from each stage of your life up to age 25, such as getting your driver's license or first car, or even a project such as restoring a car. That is going to be your first car. Something that really sticks out in your memory as very important at the time. Second, you're only going to write down objects or events that were good and of a positive nature. Nothing associated with unpleasantness or trauma. Now, when you finish that, and please, no cheating or it will affect the outcome, come back to the video. So, if you're back now, and I'm hoping you didn't cheat, listen to this little personal story so you will make a far better connection with what I asked you to do. Don't worry, it will all coalesce and make sense shortly. For reasons I can't exactly remember because it was so long ago, when it came to getting my first car, I was really a late bloomer by American standards. I didn't get my driver's license until I was 22, and didn't get my first car until I was 23. Christ, I was practically a grandpa. But anyway, there are 2 things they say you never forget. Well, at least if you're a guy anyway. Your first girl, I'm referring to the first girl I had sex with, not the first girl I actually kissed, and your first car. Well, let's just talk about the car. A 77 shit brown Datsun B210 hatchback that I paid some college gal $350 for, and it barely had any brakes. By this time, I was living on my own, and I made enough money through my blue-collar job to do just a bit better than getting by. My apartment was certainly far from luxurious, but it was mine. And now I had a car. I spent that summer and a lot, if not all, of my surplus time and money fixing up that car. I went to junkyards getting matching secondhand body parts because I wanted it to look like new with no dents. In fact, as ridiculous as this may sound, I wanted to do everything I could to restore it to its former glory, constantly washing and waxing it, because it was fulfilling my dream, my fantasy, that it was a race car, it was a chick car. Soon, as soon as she, not it, was all good and restored, chicks would be flocking to me for the local fame and notoriety of riding in my car. My old jet brown 77 Datsun B210 hatchback. That delusion was quickly shattered when I discovered that not only were chicks not fighting over each other to ride in my car, but when other guys I knew actually pulled up to me at traffic stops in nice actual chick cars that had actual chicks in them, and I could tell that they were laughing at my chick car. Yep, the delusion was shattered. I had an old, ugly, shit brown 77 Datsun B210 hatchback that had less power than a lawnmower. And I'm not talking about the kind you ride, but the kind you push. So what does this story have to do with everything that I asked you to do previously? Short answer, everything. The combination of you going into your memories and writing down whatever you did, in combination with listening to my story right after that, was intended to make certain to put you into a state of advanced perception. Now, when you look at everything on the list you created, and of course, this is very personalized to your life, what you should discover, deeply discover, are the very big changes in your feelings about all of those things you so passionately cared about then, which you totally not only don't care about now, but you may have, and I feel really should have, an embarrassed feeling about that reflection. How on earth could I have possibly felt so passionately about this or about that back then? I would need at least another episode, a part 2 of this subject, to explore that. But for now, I'll finish up by saying this. You felt the way you did because you lacked the insight of proportionality. This is not something as simple as saying, oh, of course I felt that way about this or about that. I was a child. I was a teenager. You were a being that didn't know the concept of proportionality, just like myself, until one day I did, and so much in my life began to change and improve. Now, having said that, might you be interested in buying a slightly used shit brown 77 Datsun B210 hatchback? The brakes are good. I just wanted to take a moment to introduce the Earnest Mann Show tote bag, which the crappy pictures from my crappy camera don't do justice. But you can check it out on my website via the link in the description. It's a large quality bag going for a very reasonable donation. Thank you. I really hope you found this helpful or interesting. And if you want to know more or have any questions at all, you can reach out to me via my website link in the description below. And if you really want to give me a compliment, telling a friend about the show would be the best compliment you could ever give me. Until next time, this is Ernest, and I usually always am.